Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving deep into the political developments in the Free State, specifically in Nola's Ward 7, located in the Kotsong neighborhood of Bothaville. This latest municipal election result has shaken things up in ways that might surprise even seasoned political watchers, so stay tuned, because there's a lot to unpack. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about this political drama unfolding right here in the heart of the Free State. So, let's start with the basics. Ward 7 in Nola has remained under the control of the African National Congress, the ANC, which secured 54% of the vote according to the official results announced this past Wednesday. This continues the party's long-standing grip over this agricultural hub, but before we pop the celebratory champagne, let's look closer at the numbers and the bigger story they tell. What's truly remarkable about this election is the dramatic surge in support for the Economic Freedom Fighters, or EFF. The party captured 47% of the vote, a striking leap from their 25% share in the previous municipal contest. That's almost double, and it sends a very clear signal: the EFF is no longer a fringe force in the Free State. They are rapidly becoming a serious contender, even in what have historically been ANC strongholds. And for the politically curious, this kind of growth is exactly the kind of trend that national analysts watch like hawks, because it can indicate a shift in voter sentiment that may have ripple effects far beyond one ward. The numbers also tell another story, one of decline and disappearance. The Nola Community Forum, which once enjoyed 17% of voter support in previous polls, has collapsed to a mere 3%. That is a precipitous fall, and it raises questions about the forum's ability to maintain grassroots connections and credibility with local residents. Observers suggest that the forum may have failed to keep pace with the changing political climate, losing the trust of the very community it was meant to represent. Essentially, the forum went from being a minor player to almost completely irrelevant in one electoral cycle. And if there's a lesson here, it's clear: in local politics, staying connected with the community isn't optional, it's survival. Another interesting aspect of this election was voter turnout. Across Ward 7, participation rose to 63%, up from 53% in the previous election. That might not seem like a huge jump at first glance, but in political terms, that is a significant increase in civic engagement. Higher turnout often benefits parties that are able to mobilize disaffected or younger voters, exactly the groups that the EFF seems to be appealing to. Analysts have noted that this trend is a strong indicator that the younger population, as well as residents who may have grown frustrated with traditional political structures, are starting to flex their influence at the ballot box. So, what does this mean for the ANC? Despite holding on to the ward, the result is certainly a warning. A 54% win in the face of an EFF surge tells us that ANC dominance in the area is not as secure as it once seemed. The ANC itself seems to recognize this, with a party spokeswoman emphasizing the need to respond to citizens' expectations for accountability and improved service delivery. In plain terms, this is a reminder to the ANC: residents are watching closely, and they expect action, not just promises. Meanwhile, the EFF is claiming the moral victory in many ways, even without outright taking the ward. For a party that has historically been considered a challenger rather than a governing force, this kind of electoral momentum is invaluable. It positions them as a rising power not only in the Free State but potentially across other regions where disillusionment with traditional parties is growing. If the EFF continues on this trajectory, they could become a real contender in future municipal and national elections, forcing established parties to rethink their strategies and engagement methods. And let's not forget the local flavor of politics here. Ward 7 is in Kotsong, a neighborhood within Bothaville, which is part of the Lichweleputswa district municipality. This area is known for its agricultural output, but like many South African communities, it faces challenges related to infrastructure, service delivery, and local governance. These local issues often dominate residents' voting behavior, which could explain why we see such dramatic swings in support. People are not just voting for party loyalty, they are voting for change, accountability, and tangible improvements in their daily lives. And when that doesn't happen, as the forum's collapse shows, voters are quick to move their support elsewhere. This election also raises broader questions about political engagement in South Africa. With younger voters increasingly dissatisfied and older voters demanding better governance, parties can no longer rely solely on historical loyalty or entrenched support bases. Civic involvement is shifting, and parties that fail to adapt risk seeing their influence wane rapidly. And as we've seen, the EFF is capitalizing on this opening effectively, transforming frustration and discontent into tangible political support. Of course, this doesn't mean the ANC is out of the game. A 54% win is still a majority, and it demonstrates that the party continues to have deep roots and a loyal base in Ward 7. But the margin is narrowing, and narrow victories in politics can quickly turn into losses if complacency sets in. Analysts suggest that the ANC will need to double down on engagement, focusing on service delivery and genuine dialogue with the community, if they want to prevent further erosion of support in future elections. In the end, what this result really highlights is that local politics in South Africa is dynamic, unpredictable, and deeply connected to residents' daily realities. Party loyalties can shift dramatically, new forces like the EFF can rise quickly, and older, established forums can disappear almost overnight. Ward 7 is a perfect case study in how political landscapes evolve and how voters are increasingly willing to hold leaders accountable. So, what can we take away from all of this? First, ANC dominance is no longer guaranteed. Second, the EFF is on the rise, gaining ground even in areas that were once considered untouchable. Third, local forums like the Nola Community Forum must work harder to maintain relevance, or risk fading into obscurity. And finally, voter participation matters a lot. Higher turnout means more voices, more accountability, and, ultimately, a more vibrant democracy. That's all for today's in-depth look at Ward 7 in Nola. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more political updates, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think will come out on top in the next municipal elections? Will the ANC rebound, or is the EFF set to continue their surge? We'd love to hear your predictions. See you next time.